this video I'm going to be talking about how to take a good photo with your mobile phone. So to give a brief history, mobile phone and smartphone photography has only been invented for like around 9 years, but it's already blew up. The biggest difference between smartphone photography and older digital photography is a smartphone lens is much smaller and much more compact than a digital camera, a full DSLR. Before that, there was this thing called an SLR, which was a full frame camera that captured images onto a 35mm negative. The 35mm negative, when exposed to light, captures the raw light input from the surrounding world. That's why when you hear the shutter sound, is actually the camera opening up and exposing the film to the current scene and then closing back down. So for development, they take that 35mm raw, the long strip of metal paper, and inverse the light, and that's how you get your positive, fully finished picture. So with the invent of digital cameras, they actually invented a little chip that did the same thing as the 35mm RAWs. And the chip is like a bunch of small photoreceptors that do the same features and capture the images real time. So fast forward to smartphone photography, they reduce that chip down to the size of a smartphone and put these small cameras in. So the biggest difference between your phone camera and a full DSLR is just the lens. The sensor is exactly the same, but it's how much light that the sensor gets exposed to. So the biggest issue with smartphone photography is that the lens isn't big enough to capture all the light and capture the scene well. So to compensate for that, you have to go outside, you have to get into a well-lit scene, because without that light, you just really can't see, the camera can't see. It's like if you're in a dark room and it's too dark, then you can't see and you can't make out the images. Our eyes have been adapted to low light, so the human body is much more adept to seeing low light. But a smartphone has only been around for 10 years. A human being has been around for 10,000 years. Capturing photos in good light is the easiest way of making your smartphone photography better. Other than that, capturing angles, getting the right composition is very important. A photo is just one moment in time that's captured in a digital file or an analog file. So transmitting more information through that image is the most important thing. Capturing angles, making sure the composition is clean, making sure that people are aligned, patterns can be made. It's all psychological, because it's not really about the camera, it's more about the way the photographer frames a photo. If you compose an image poorly and have too much noise just through background objects and the person not being in the right areas, like making it hard for the eye to follow, it's going to be a bad photo no matter which camera you use. But with smartphones, it's hard to fix the lens. You can't really fix the lens, but you can work on the other parts, such as the angles and the composition. So all in all, that's the best way to improve your smartphone photography in a short amount of time.